What is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another live stream. Today is episode number 82. Believe it or not, that means 82 consecutive weeks that we have been streaming without fail. And as always, I thank you for taking the time and spending it here with me. If it is your first time, my name's Lewis, also known as MrCameraJunkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And today we're going to be doing some editing. Just to give you a little pretext to what's going on, a couple of weeks ago I recorded a video that we're going to edit tonight live on this same very live stream. I took my time and I showed the smile and hold method, and now I'm going to go through the steps of taking that footage directly from Ecamm, separating the audio and doing everything that we need to actually produce this and show you the steps in a workflow that I would do with a file just like this. And we're gonna go through some steps and also give some, how would I say, just some context along the way so that you can see different variations if you have a different type of pre-recorded content. I just want to give sort of like a disclaimer that this is not an exact science. When it comes to editing, I'm going to show you my workflow and the steps that I take to produce content, but at the end of the day, there's no real exact cookie cutter way of doing this, and that's the beauty of editing, because of the simple fact that you get to make it your own with your own style. So no matter what that you can take or learn from this, I just hope that you get the overall gist and see what you can apply to your workflow. So with that being said, let me say what's up to the crew. Let me see who's here. As always, right off bat, let me just show Mr. Aiden is hanging out with us, Aiden Cam. So you might hear him in the background, as always. Okay, and right off the bat, we have Mr. Moderator Paul Duncan saying what's up. Says he's looking forward to this. Awesome. Purple Paisley Planner saying hello, Paula, and she's saying hello to me as well. How are you doing today? All right, and we also have Carlos in the house saying let's do this. All right, well, we're gonna get started. So I'm going to pull up a scene that I have set up dedicated to this live stream. As you can tell, you might be able to tell that my lighting's a little different, and it's because usually I have a big softbox here to fill in, but I am going to need access to my secondary monitor today just to get everything rolling. So let's get things started. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. All right. And let me know, I should be coming in through, like I should be coming out clear. Is this the same song? It just seems that like it gets high on the levels here, but let me know if everything's coming in clear. All right. And this is the scene that I'm going to be moving into. Boom. Okay. So you should be seeing my desktop. Excuse me. Thank you for that bit of information. Let me see if I can switch this out real quick to help this out. Okay, I should be coming in clear as well. Thank you for that bit of information. Just to give you a little bit of insight, I was using a third channel on the Rodecaster Pro 2, so I just switched it back to channel 1 so that any ducking would actually be done through the other channels. I think I was just ducking myself out because I was using this condenser microphone and I had my dynamic as the first one, so I just set the information just to make sure that it had power, and I just switched it over here. So let me know, give me a thumbs up if this is sounding better as far as the ducking. Yeah, but I had my dynamic as the, as my main, so I just switched this one to channel 1. Hopefully that is better. It says much better. Okay, good. So I just did it to myself. All right, so now you should be seeing my desktop. The first thing that I'm going to do in this case is, because I was using Ecamm, like I had mentioned before, Ecamm gives you the ability to have all of the files separate as far as audio goes into your saved file folder at the end of the live stream. So that allowed me, let me turn that off. Okay. So that allowed me to separate the audio. The reason why this is important is because the section that I set out to be part of this video or the edit, I do not want the mix of the music like you're hearing on my live stream to be part of it. That way, every time you cut the audio, you would actually tell the difference in the skipping or the missing parts of the song, and that would be like a mental cue that is distracting at the end of the day. So with Ecamm allowing it to be separate, my first step is to actually take the live stream file and bring it into Final Cut Pro, bring the volume down that has the entire mix in it, sound effects, music, everything, and add just the audio file that I have separate, and then cut out the chunk that I'm then going to use. Excuse me. The chunk that I'm then gonna use, and cut that out and throw that into Descript, which will be the next step that I take, or would be maybe my first step if you already have the file in place. So for instance, if you just have a recorded file, you would have to skip this step and just go into the Descript, which would be step 2. Excuse me, just trying to clear my throat. Okay, so right here, I'm going to open up my movie folder. Bring it here so that we can see it. And in the movie folder, I'm going to open up my Ecamm recordings, and I'm gonna go to a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, there's plenty of files that are recorded in between the live stream, but I'm gonna go into the live stream where I had that set up. Okay. And this is the file that we're going to need. So now my next step is going to open up Final Cut Pro. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're looking good. And if you guys have any questions, I think Paul let you know, please put a Q in front of it so that then I'll be able to search those out as we go through that. Okay, so I have something already open. We're going to close that on Final Cut. We're gonna open up Live Edit file. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me show you all of that. So let me close this completely. All right, so now I have Final Cut Pro. Should be right there. Okay. And in Final Cut Pro, we're gonna open a library. And right here, we're gonna create something new. I already have it set up to my hard drive, which is my 2 terabyte SSD that I have connected there. And I am going to name this Live Edit. I'm going to put a 2 because I already put one in there, but just to show you. Okay, so we have Live Edit 2. Now we have our collection, and the next step would be to create a project. This was something that I just want to demonstrate because when I first stepped into Final Cut Pro, this wasn't the most intuitive to me. Like, I'm thinking new project and how everything within the Mac world is usually just drag and drop. I thought I'd be able to just drop a file and it would actually just understand it and convert it. It was something that Premiere did for me when I first started editing, but this was probably like the only hiccup, right? So once you've created the file to like start editing, you need to then create a project for it. And I'm gonna name it the same exact thing. Live Edit. Okay. And now I just created a 4K timeline through the settings, and now I'm able to drag and drop. So I'm gonna go right back to the live stream folder that I had from a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to take the main stream or the main live stream file and just drop it right onto my timeline. As you can see, it's coming up, and right here on the upper right hand corner, we're just waiting for it to transcode. It is a 10 gigabyte file that I'm transferring over. The way that I have it set up is that I actually have it make a copy of the file from my hard drive to this external hard drive so that it can be part of the library. For this reason is that I never touched the original file, like the raw, and I'm not editing that, so that I can store away and be able to reproduce all of this file or just go back to my live stream at any point, because I haven't touched the original, and that's something that I can have backed up. This is all part of, like, you know, the workflow and backing up your files themselves, because the method is like, the saying with photography was, if you have one copy of it, you're just looking at it. If you have two, you're borrowing it. And if you have 3 copies of said file in separate locations and separate, you know, hard drives or locations, whether it be cloud, then you actually own the image, for the simple reason that that's the redundancy that you need. So my first file stays there, and then my secondary or my first backup is the file that I've just copied over to Final Cut Pro in its entirety. Well, let me go ahead and show you something else. Let me go back to, I'm used to having my Stream Deck with all my camera angles, but that's what I was going to show you. Let me go to my overhead camera. Okay, my Stream Deck here is going to have, let me go back to Final Cut. Yeah, you see it just switched over to all of these shortcuts. So I'm going to do my best to demonstrate or let you know the shortcuts that they correspond to on the keyboard, but this is also something that I've done, and this is basically my setup here when it comes to editing. As you can see, play, pause, the ripple cuts on both ends are on these two fingers, and just my blade is on my pinky. So I literally have my hand here like this, and then all these other corresponding buttons are set up in places so that I can easily backtrack, like just undo any mistake that I could have made, or a variety of different things like that. So I have this already optimized for my editing in the way that I like it. So every time that I do one of these actions, I'm gonna do my best to, you know, narrate it for you. All right, so let me go back to that. And let's go back to the edit. All right, so there we are. Okay, now let me go back to Final Cut Pro. Boom. Okay. One of these is something that I have on a button here, which I'm just going to hit, and it's going to shrink the entire file, no matter how big, to fit the timeline so that you can see it. So this is a 1.5 hour long file, and what I've done here is just made it all visible on the timeline. This is easily done by holding Shift Z anytime that you're in it. So if you expand the timeline to get more granular in it, and then just want to make sure that, or you've lost your place on the timeline because you've expanded it too much, just know that just hitting Control Z will automatically put everything within the window that you have open. Okay. Now, first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this audio that has, like I said, all of the mix, everything in it, and I'm just going to drag it down. So now I just have the video file. Next, I'm going to go right back to this same folder with the live stream. As you can see, I have the sound effects and my main microphone separate, and I'm just going to bring my main microphone file in, drop it. And that's about all I'm going to do with this folder here. Let's just close that out. Okay, the audio file already came through, so that's cool. And now I'm going to make sure that this is just all the way to the end. Line it up with the front. And now, I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys could hear the Final Cut Pro. I don't know if you can hear the scrolling. Let me know with a thumbs up if you hear the scrolling on Final Cut Pro, if you can hear the audio, or if not, because that's something that I would have to address. Because part of editing is audio, and that's something that I really want to demonstrate. Now, fortunate for me right now, I don't even have to look at the audio aspect. Hey, I see some of y'all coming in. I'm gonna get to, you know, say what's up in a little bit. Right now I'm just in the middle of this editing, so I just want to knock all of this out as soon as possible. I see Law and Alberto, Dr. Elo coming in. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Okay, but to get back to this. Okay, the reason why I said that I don't even have to look at the audio is because I already know that when I run my live streams, I run them with, as you can see, the border. Wow, Aiden is having a blast right now. Okay. Just going through. Okay, so as you can see, this is always with my border, and what I recorded that is actually going to be the file that I'm going to extract has no border. So that's all I'm going to do initially. I'm just going to cut the ends off of both sides and just take the chunk that I'm going to use and then extract that. Okay, right around here looks good. This was me explaining it. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna blade. And there's a little functionality here, which I don't know if I could highlight, as you can see to the right side, and it's called snapping. that allows your playhead to snap to any cut. That way you just snap it to it and make sure that you just cut the appropriate. You could also do a shortcut, which is Command Shift B instead of just Command B, which is blade, and that will do blade all, and that will just cut everything on the playhead all throughout the timeline. Okay, so I'm just gonna highlight these two pieces here, and I'm gonna do Command X to remove it. And I'm just gonna scroll to where I believe I'm about done. And that's just me talking already. Yep, explaining like, so the chunk that I'm leaving here in the middle, so to speak, which probably my head is covering at the moment, everything up to the playhead right here is what I'm going to use. So once again, now I'm just going to ripple this to the end, and with snapping, do the same on the bottom. Man, Aiden is going off. Okay. All right, and now we have our main file, and as you can see, it has no border. It has just clean audio, even though you can't hear it. Right now is not so important because right now this is the end of this process. This is just the point where I'm going to take this file and extract it to create a new file, which is what I'm going to run into Descript. So for example, if it wouldn't have been done on the live stream, I wouldn't need to run through this process. And if you're just recording directly from Ecamm or directly to an SD card, at that moment, you're actually just taking the file and going straight to Descript, which would be the next step. Okay, so now I'm going to take this file and I'm going to just extract that, live edit. And for this case, I'm going to throw it onto the desktop just so I don't have to look for it. And okay. And right now, I'm waiting for this to render out. Ethan is tripping me out. Okay, now while we wait for that. Yeah, because that shouldn't take long. I'm going to go through the comments now. All right, let's go back here. All right. Okay, so we have Kevin saying hello. He says, so bum we had a last minute meeting come up. Oh, so he's going to check the replay. Oh, I appreciate you. Aiden is so loud. He's killing me. Oh, man. And yeah, he's saying, do you remember to hit the like button? So if you haven't, please make sure to just hit that like button. Is highly, highly appreciated. Shelly's in the house. You had an amazing live stream. And as you can see, I just started my own. She says, oh, Descript. Yes, please. Okay, yeah, Descript is such an amazing program. I'm still learning it, but I'm just, like I said, I'm going to take you through the aspects of how I use it and how I use it to create XML files, non-destructive files that you can use in Final Cut Pro. So that's coming in a little bit. It says trying to learn all kinds of tricks in Descript. That's awesome. I'm still learning them. And Dr. Elo's here saying what's up. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. And yes, if you do have any questions, put a Q in there. All right. Okay, so we have John saying hello to everyone. How are you doing, sir? Thanks for stopping by. Okay, where are we on the render? Let's see. I still haven't got. Ooh, I should have thought that through a little bit more instead of having to wait for render. But at that same time, as soon as I get through these comments, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the audio to make sure that we can hear what's going on in Final Cut Pro. Okay, so we have Gretchen stopping by saying hello. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. just love how everyone's saying what's up to each other. Everyone's hanging out. Yes, we have Albert here. We have Law saying what's up, what's going on. We're here just leveling up, right? Okay, so yeah, we got no audio from Final Cut Pro. We're gonna fix that in a little bit. Oh, we got Senor Tom Buck in the house. What's up, Beezy? All right. Says Mr. RCP in the house, says Law. That's funny. Says Aiden's providing sound effects. Yeah, he's the Foley artist. Man, he's getting it in. He's getting in them hours. It's times like that I just stop what I'm doing and I just have to like tickle him and just start playing with him, and that's why I said he's my biggest and my favorite distraction. Oh, God, I love that boy. Okay. Yeah, it was a great video. Okay, and we got Tony in the house saying dímelo. Right now we're just waiting for this file to render. And it's still a 6 GB file. So with that being said, I'm going to mute myself for a second. I'm going to raise the music because that's through Ecamm, while I am going to quickly adjust the audio so that you could hear Final Cut Pro, because that's important in this next step. The reason why is because you actually, like, audio is the biggest part of the edit. I feel that for an edit to be successful, you need to be able to listen to it like if it was just an audio track. If you can close your eyes and listen to it and nothing bugs you and nothing takes you out of it, step one is accomplished. Then you're able to finesse the magic with the photos or the videos that you're going to put on top of it. That's where you're going to put your style or your twist to it. And that's how I do my edits. I think that's very important for me because I've always mentioned bad audio is unwatchable. Audio is very important, and if you can retain someone through conversation, then retaining them with visuals should just be that easier. And that's one of the things that I strive for. Like, no matter what type of video that I come out with, you know, thumbnails, click-through rates, and subscribers and all that, those are, well, more of the subscribers is something that you really can't control. You want to make your best video thumbnail for the simple reason that that's kind of like the poster to your movie. You need to be able to try to attract someone to click on your video, because you can have the greatest masterpiece video, but if you have a bad representation of it, right? Like, I think Doc Rock said something like this, you can have a, you know, world-class piece of steak done to perfection, but if you bring it out on a garbage can lid, nobody's gonna eat it. So it really just determines on the presentation. So the thumbnail is like the presentation, the video is the substance, and the audio is what brings it kind of together. Because if you have bad audio, in my case, then you can't have that. Is that je ne sais quoi, so to speak. So, okay, we have a question here. Oh, I do. I have a separate camera, says Law. Law asked this question, says, do you have Aiden cam on another window? Yeah. It's kind of like this little thing, but I always just still, like my fatherly instinct, just to go take a look, because I hear him directly. It's just I know he's going at it. But he has a question that says, do I have an affiliate link to Descript? I might. Actually, I don't think so. I think I have an affiliate with this other one. What is it? With Jarvis or Jasper. Yes. I don't have it with Descript. Okay, let's see. We're at 26%. Ooh, this is taking up a lot more time than what I expected. It was a much bigger file than what I thought, especially it being 4K. Okay, Albert says, Lewis, in my system was the mix minus and better mixer to hear the Final Cut Pro, then turn it back on when I do interviews. Well, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I actually have it set up through the Rodecaster Pro 2 chat so that I actually have the control of the mix minus, but that's actually what's removing the audio. So let me go ahead and take care of that right now. It's a little tricky right now because I have my mouse being shown in 2 different locations while I'm on screen, and I've lost my mouse a couple of times today. Okay. Okay, then I believe you guys should be hearing that now. Let me know with a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you hear the audio skimming while I move the playhead over the Final Cut Pro. Here's something. Let me see if it's just bringing the volume up on it. Okay, good. And I thought I picked the fast way to do the render. That's where I'm like, let's see. I'm getting mixed signals. I got both up and down. Good. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, sir. I hear the chipmunks. Do I have an effect on? No.
This would be the chipmunks.
You had to throw it in there, right? All right. Okay. I think I got things pretty much set. Right now we're at 40%. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on in chat. Okay, so it looks like we got that taken care of. So let me see here. Okay, so we have someone here. Says Las Vegas Raiders rundown with Wi-Fi Willie. Are you using a Chrome browser extension to highlight chats? No, I'm using the program that actually powers this entire live stream, which is called Ecamm Live. If you have a Mac computer, then I highly recommend hitting the link in the description down below. You can get a 14-day free trial, and if you sign up with the code MCJ, you will get your first 30 days free so that you can try out the program. And I highly recommend it. I have a pretty powerful PC just underneath me here, dual graphics cards. Randy could give you some better details on all of the specs. It's an incredible machine, and using that with OBS and a couple of different applications, as soon as I started using Ecamm Live, it was just night and day. Never had any other issues with my live streams. At this same time, as we wait for this to render, I have the ability to completely control my live streams. I have tickers that I'm able to apply. I'm able to switch cameras easily and have multiple angles. This is frozen, absolutely frozen, that image, but that is my overhead view. Usually you can see me in it, but that is an iPhone XR as another camera set up there. And then this is my webcam, is my Aiden cam, and that's where you can see my son. That's Aiden hanging out. So all the special sound effects that you hear in the background are provided by the boss man right there, Mr. Aiden Alexander Vega. And yep, he's just hanging out. But all of this is done through the power of Ecamm. I even have my overhead shot that shows you my setup here, and this is an iPhone that I have here so that I can just play music and have it connected via Bluetooth directly to the Rodecaster Pro 2. This thing is an amazing machine, but this is where I could really highlight. So let me see if I can show you real quick, because I'm about to hit the button to show exactly this one right here that looks like a little clock. That's where I have my, it says 13 go. And when I click it, that actually sets my cameras to automatically rotate and just travel along. So if I'm getting into, you know, like specifics on a particular subject, my thoughts on a new camera or a lens, and I'm just giving a soliloquy, at that moment, this already is preset to be able to just switch through my cameras automatically without me having to touch any other buttons. So I just sit here and I'll just continue with the dialogue, continue in chat, and all of this is done through the power of Ecamm. Is it running? Oh no, I guess I turned it off. So now you'll just see it should be running automatically. This music is too loud. Still too loud? Well, pretty soon this is all gonna change, because I am gonna be running the audio from the Rodecaster Pro 2. Right now I'm running it still through Ecamm, but as you can see, the rotation of the cameras, all of this is done automatically, or like Doc says, automagically. And yeah, and that's all I have to do now. I'm able to just host this live stream, host the show, answer questions, and it's like I have a producer doing these shots overhead for me. Yeah, that camera, my iPhone is straight frozen right now. That's so funny. Like, I'm waving my hand. Yeah, that was a while ago. Look, I got all the cables everywhere. That was like when I was setting up. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going through all of this. This is while we were just talking about the audio in Final Cut Pro. Okay, when rendering in Final Cut Pro, will it help YouTube to show you video faster so they still render? Question mark. Let me read that again, because when rendering in Final Cut Pro, will it help YouTube to show your video faster, or do they still render? they still have their own version of rendering. They do. But that's exactly what I believe I had done, which is usually the fastest process. I don't know if it's because I am running a live stream or anything like that, but at the same moment, you know what? Let me double check something here just to give you a little bit of insight. Yeah, this is being a little taxing on my computer. It's up there. So the render time could be subject to the fact that I am running the live stream, so it's taking a little bit longer. But now let me just talk about that still. Okay. The way that I'm rendering it for the Apple computers is in a H.264 file format, which is ideal for Apple devices, QuickTime, and iPhones. YouTube already knows that the majority of people who both watch YouTube and actually upload YouTube are doing it off of their mobile devices. And because of this, they have adapted their systems to accept the H.264 compression and accept that like in a pretty fast manner and then decompress it themselves, so to speak. Because of that, files that you upload in that format tend to load a lot faster and get rendered through YouTube a lot faster and come up to like full high definition quality. You know, like when I put something on YouTube, before I make it public, I make sure that it's already at 4K so that somebody that wants to watch it in that mode has the ability and is not subject to watching it like in 480p because I didn't give YouTube enough time to render it in the background. When I've uploaded .mov files, they have taken a lot longer, sometimes even 24 hours, depending on the size and the length of it. But when I've rendered that .mp4, but with that file compression built through the Apple computers and Final Cut Pro, they have loaded super fast. Like the last video that I uploaded, which I believe was just a couple minutes long, uploaded, had it ready, and it was completely up. Give me 1 second, but let me finish telling you. 1 second. Was completely uploaded, 4K definition, everything in a matter of hours. But I'll be right back. I need to do some fatherly chores. Okay, there we are. Okay, we're at 73%. Thank you guys all for hanging out, because this entire time we're supposed to be editing and I'm literally just waiting for this render. This is hilarious to me. You know what? Let's see something. Now at this point, just gonna stick it out. I'm a little in shock myself. Like, yep, everything looks right. It's just taking a sweet little time because it has Ecamm as the priority. All right, let me see where we're at here. It says when I talk, the music gets louder, but when I stop talking, it gets softer. That's interesting. we all are learning on this device. Shelly says, the joys of live streaming, right? There's never a dull moment. Says, I gotta get the Stream Deck pedals. I actually am like the prime candidate for the Stream Deck pedals because I do this all standing up, always. I've always done the stand-up setup. You know, my camera's drooping. Gotta check that out. It was cutting off the top of my head. But yes, I agree with you, Law. I think the Stream Deck pedals, I'm a prime candidate for that. This is gonna crack me up the whole time. The fact that that camera is straight frozen. Let's see if I can fix it. It froze again when I moved it. Oh, I've lost it completely. Lost that camera completely. Are you kidding? Okay, just forget it. We're gonna stick with the main. We're at 88%. 88 miles per hour. All right, we're at 88% on the render, and then we can get to it. Break out my comedy routine. If you hadn't noticed, I've been trying. Just like this is like, you know, when we used to do television production, when the producer would be like this, he'd be like, and whenever you see this, means stretch it out like we're waiting for someone to connect, or just, you know, fill in the dead air. So it's like, you know, make it as long as possible. So that's exactly what we're doing here. Okay, Randall says, has the Mac Studio performed as expected? Yeah, actually, like that's why I said I'm a little shocked that it's taken this long, because once I switched over to the .mp4 comparative to the .mov, everything's been lightning, like renders, everything. It's just been, I did one in real time and I was showing, I sent it to somebody because they were wondering, hey, is the Mac M1 really worth it? Is it that much faster than my 2017 iMac? And I'm like, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I rendered a 4K file on my Mac Mini in no time and sent him the video of it, and with the message that the same computer that did the render that fast also was doing the screen recording so that you can see the video. And I was like, that's all I have to tell you. Like, they were all done in no time. So when it comes to the Mac Studio, it's outperformed this, and this is like absolutely the slowest that I've seen it. So even though I wanted to show you guys this process, right, I should have done it already ahead of time when I was setting things up. So apologies on that. We live and we learn. I always try to make sure that I have things prepped, and I was like, I have all the files that I need. You know, I think I should just be able to just like do it and show my exact workflow, which is what I'm doing, except my workflow usually does not entail a live stream. So duly noted. Okay, Dr. Elo says this is the sounds okay to me as far as the music goes. Okay, that's cool. Okay, well, that's what's most important. If it sounds good, we got thumbs up. We are very close to finalizing that render and taking this next step. I just want to be able to do that, get the file closed, Final Cut, and move to we're gonna go into Descript. Now, if you guys are gonna hang out with me, I usually been trying to keep these into about an hour, but I also want to make sure that I provide as much value as possible. So I might not be able to finish it, but I am gonna complete the steps as far as what I'd be doing with the audio. And I already had plans on continuing this edit next week, which I will be doing, but I will be taking more precautions to make sure that I have everything in place. So we're at 100%. Let me get the little notification. Drum roll. All right, I'm not even gonna move the mouse right now. I'm just gonna put my hands up. All right, we're complete. All right. Now that we have the file, we're back here. Actually, we're just looking at me. That's not what I want. Let's demonstrate. Let's show what we're doing. I'm gonna go back to my edit screen. Perfect. Okay. All right. So now that we've exported this file, this is what we're going to use. We're going to, in all sincerity, I'm gonna leave this open because we're gonna use the same file to open up the file that we're gonna get from Descript. So what I'm just gonna do here is I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just gonna close Final Cut Pro for right now. I'll take those steps when I get there. Okay, now we're clear. My next step. Where are you showing me this? Oh, that's not what I asked for. Let's close Final Cut Pro. Perfect. Okay. I thought I lost the file. Okay, back on track. The next step is to open up Descript. So let's go ahead and I'm going to open up Descript. And usually Descript has an update and it's gonna ask me to restart it. No update today, Descript? Okay, I guess not. All right. Gonna go home and we're gonna create a new project in Descript, and we're gonna once again live edit. What is going on? New project. Live edit. Why can't I create the project? Isn't this great? Right now, I am at a loss. Home. I'm in Descript. New project. Let's just paste that on there. And I cannot create a project for whatever reason at the moment. Okay, let me just try to reboot. Let me check for updates. I'm using the latest version. Okay. Well, the latest version is it's sucking. Hopefully that came out clear. Yeah, it's telling me it's non-responsive. Absolutely. What is going on with this script? This is in technical terms what I call stuck on stupid. Right now, the script is just straight stuck on stupid. It's not allowing me to create a new project. Okay. Okay, I'm bringing this here. This is an old project, my Mac Studio project, but now I'm just gonna add a new composition to this project. Just gonna bypass the step. It's usually the little arrow, you know, the little plus sign. You create a new project, you name it, you get to this part, and then you add a new composition. So the new composition will bring you to this. And this is exactly how this script works. Why, for whatever reason, it decided to not allow me to make a new project right now, not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna keep rolling. But this is exactly what we will see. And as untitled, I will once again rename it to Live Edit. Perfect. And now the file that I just created, that we waited so long for, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop it there. Yeah. Okay, so now the script is taking the file, uploading it, and is actively transcribing the video. It says identify speakers. Oh, wow. Apologies. That was loud for me. I'm guessing you guys heard that. Wow. I'm at a loss right now because I heard music, so right now my mind is churning. I'm like, there should have been no music. I'm using an audio file of just my microphone. Oh, that was my actual Mac Studio video. That's where the music was coming from. That makes sense now. Okay, but okay, let's see. Right now, I've been quiet this time because I'm trying to see if this would act accordingly so that I can go through my progressions. But I just have to address this elephant in the room. Right now, the script would usually be transcribing my video, which is what I just mentioned, and capturing all the voice and, you know, putting it into like a caption file, which at this point will allow you to edit if you wanted to just edit the complete file right here through Descript. But as we can all see, Descript is having a good old time today, and it's definitely not acting normal. So I just have to address that right off the bat. So hopefully I'm gonna just see if I can do normally what I would do. At this moment, what I'm supposed to be seeing is that instead of just saying live edit and just showing me this clip here, I'm supposed to see an actual transcription of everything that was said within the file that I just dropped. I'm not seeing that. The next step that I would do is to save time, and it looks like today that's not going to happen, is go to this wrench here where it says, you know, like shorten word gaps, remove filler words, and more. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to shorten word gaps, and it has no transcription. So because it has no transcription, it's not giving me anything to shorten. Wow. This is just, I don't think we're gonna be able to do it because this is such a key part to the editing. And I want to emphasize, because what I create through Descript and this process right here, whether it's pre-recorded or anything, is the XML file. And the XML file is a way where you could apply all the edits to this and then take that file directly into Final Cut Pro and have all the edits applied, but that they are not destructive. They are not destructive. You're able to manipulate them, but it allows you to take the word gaps that I built into the video, you know, on purpose, that I put them in so that this program could recognize the word gaps even easier. That's part of the smile and hold method when it comes to editing, and it's not doing any of that. So once again, I'm going to quit Descript. Yeah, this has really got me scratching my head on why Descript is acting like such a punk. Look, it's just, this is so disappointing, guys. I'm trying here. I'm trying. Is my audio really bad? It could be because I did switch to, like, from the chat to the main, and I think that that's causing issues. There's one thing that I'm gonna try. Let me know if that fixed the audio gremlins that I just read about. I am wearing my headphones, but I do not hear them. So if they are coming out, it's something that I have noticed, especially when it comes to switching the audio sources on the fly, which is exactly what I did to make sure that the Final Cut Pro was being displayed. So whenever I switch from the RCP2 chat to the RCP2 main as the audio source, or to be kicked out, I have noticed certain, like, connections. The way that I fixed them was by disconnecting the USB-C and reconnecting it, and I did that on the fly. So if that did fix the issue, let's just note that down, that that's something that can take care of these audio gremlins on the fly. And as I can see, like, because the RCP is standalone, it doesn't have to like shut down, and you're able to disconnect and reconnect like that. Okay, good to know, good to know. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try once again to open up this script and see what's happening. Okay. Not looking good at all. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay. Right now, what I just did, transcribe file, and I don't think it's doing anything. Oh my God. Well, I think I'm gonna have to call the edit here. I appreciate everyone. Like I said, I had plans to continue the edit next week, so that was already in the works. But what it seems like is that I just wanted to be further along on the editing process than not having programs work on me correctly today. You know, that was not in the works as far as it goes. I'm not sure if it's what I'm asking it to do on the live stream, but I am gonna run some tests this week to see how I can do this best. Because if it's easier, right, and I'm just throwing it out there, if it's easier for me to actually do the edit on the Mac Mini, or, you know, vice versa, so that it's not required to do both things as far as edit the Final Cut Pro and do all of this while hosting the live stream, that's what I'm hoping, you know. Let me just see here. I'm opening up Descript on my Mac Mini to see how that's working out here. And this one tells me that there's a new version, so I'm gonna restart it, and it's rebooting. So let's see about the new version, and I'm just gonna see if I can create a new project here. New project. Test. Oh my God, I see the blue. Look, you know what? I'm gonna change the visuals here. Let's go over here, main shot, so that you can see. Here we go. Evidence, proof. This is the script on my Mac Mini here off to the side. I put new project, test, and I got this nice, beautiful blue button right here that says create project. And this is exactly what we were supposed to experience. That simple, yet as we can see, obviously it's not happening here. So, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do this. I was saying, you know what? Maybe I could just continue like this, right? With universal control, but I can't because I just realized that this is completely washed out. Like, you can't see any detail in it, which is very, very important. So, good to know that it's not Descript in total, but there's definitely something going on with my connection here and what I'm trying to produce as far as this live stream goes. And on top of it not being is not going to get fixed today, you know, the time keeps ticking, and that's our most precious commodity. I always appreciate all of you, but I need to fix this before I can demonstrate exactly what it is that we want to do. So I do appreciate everyone, but I'm gonna call the editing here. Let me just clarify some things. I already have the file right, that we were supposed to edit. So basically what we learned today in a nutshell was, hey, we can take a file directly from Ecamm, remove all of the music, just add the microphone and export it so that we can repurpose it without all of the extra music, without sound effects, so on and so forth. So that's at least one aspect, and at least we can say we got that out of the way. We have the file already on my desktop here, and we're ready to manipulate it in Descript. So next week, like I said, I want it to be further along, but next week we're gonna go into Descript. We're gonna let it do the transcription. I'm gonna show you the steps of adding or removing the word gaps and removing, in my case, because it was pre-recorded, I don't think I have too many, but just in case, filler words like ums, things like that you don't want in your video. So this is all built into Descript, and I'll be able to show it off a lot better next week, definitely. Okay, but at least I know it's working on this side. I just need to get it to work on my Mac Studio, or to test out to see if it's that this is something that's gonna give me a problem whenever I try to do it on the live stream. If so, I will change one of the camera sources, most likely my secondary camera here, or maybe my overhead, and I will use that input source to be directly from the Mac Mini, so it will come in as a camera, and I'll be able to do everything on it to show you all the aspects of it, and there wouldn't be an issue. So guaranteed for next week this will be resolved. And I think I just fixed the audio ducking issue, because I think the ducking was active. See, still learning, guys. Right off the bat, how I don't use ducking that much, I don't think it's my favorite thing right off the bat. So maybe I won't have it in a button that's so easily pressed. That's on me. All right, let me go back to the chat to see how you guys are doing before we close it out. All right. Okay, so Gretchen was saying, says, can you open an old project? That's exactly what I did, but nothing was still working. Like I said, like even within the old projects, launch a new composition. She's laughing because she knows, like, that's not normal. At least you feel me. I appreciate you. Says, maybe you have already used the title. Even if you use the title, like, the script wouldn't give you that issue. It just wouldn't. So I appreciate it, but at least I was able to recognize that it wasn't, that it's not like the script is just maybe an issue that I'm having right now with this computer. Okay. Just scrolling through these messages. Says maybe try the online version. That's funny. I've never really done it online. Oh, how you doing, Laura? She says she just realized she wasn't subscribed to me. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Says I had a similar issue with something cleaning up catch on my Chrome, says Alberto. Says grab the mini as the NDI source. The whole thing is, I was thinking about it, but I don't want to transfer the 6 gig file over to the mini, and I put it onto the desktop instead of the hard drive, which is where I normally put it. So it's just trying to make things a little bit faster and easier. Ended up, like, I think just throwing the whole monkey wrench into the whole thing. Yeah, so everyone's saying good night. That's a screen share it. I want to do it right. That's the whole thing, you know. So I'm going to make sure that I have the files and everything. Oh, thank you, John. Yes, City's Gall. You see? Appreciate you guys. You guys are freaking the best. You see, like, my mind is totally on the problem, and as a problem solver, right, trying to fix things, that was the only thing, kind of like the splinter in my mind, the pressing issue. All right, City's Gall. Let's get into that. Boom. City's Gall. Channels that I think you should go and watch. And because today we were talking about editing, someone that if you don't know about editing, oh, I think let me see if I even have it open. If not, we're gonna open it as well. What's going on? Where's my mouse? Okay. Okay, yep, we didn't even have anything open. All right, so let me go into that, and let me find the individual here. You guys probably heard that, and here we go. Boom, back, there we go. This is where we need to go. And where did I go? I should be here. Let me see. Oh, it's locked. There we go. I'm back. And why is it doing that? Because I have more than one Chrome open? There we go. Okay, we'll work with it. Today's just one of those days. All right. This is Dylan Bates, the Final Cut bro from Final Cut Pro. This dude has a plethora, and I mean years and years of content that you can go through if you want to level up your production when it comes to Final Cut Pro. He really goes in deep with the other aspects like, excuse me, motion and all the other like plugins that you can add to it. And if you haven't heard of him, it's great. I highly recommend you check him out. For those of you who don't know, you can find all of the City's Gall people that I featured for City's Gall in my Discord. He's awesome. He's like straight to the point, and his last video, which was yesterday, which is this one that's right here that I'm covering with my face, probably. No, okay, this one right here, the insane free plugin. I highly recommend that even if you don't do anything, just check out this one video and download the plugin. Do what's necessary because this thing is amazing. I just saw his video on it and I haven't used it myself, but someone who understands the aspects of editing and rotoscoping, this thing is amazing. It has like the way Final Cut Pro tends to make everything, they like to make it magnetic, right? Sticky, things that stick to it. So this plugin allows you to rotoscope pretty much anything, and as you're doing it, it's giving you the stickiness factor, so to speak, and you get to allow it, like you get to guide it. So it's super interesting, but like super amazing. So let's say, for instance, you want to cut something out, like you want to cut it out of the background, right? This is stuff that we use CANVA and not Final Cut. Photoshop. We use Photoshop. We use CANVA and all these different things to take our photography files and cut ourselves out so that we can use them in thumbnails. When you're doing that in the video side, in the video editing side, that's what we call rotoscoping, and it's a very tedious process of going in, usually with tablets and like hand pencils, so to speak, like tablets with the pencils, and literally go around the figures by hand, frame by frame, to separate the individual from the background. This plugin allows you to do it once, and it uses the AI to track it and do that for every single frame, and then you can have an entire scene processed and rotoscoped like a professional with this plugin. And that allows you to color grade the character separate from the background, add what we call, you know, depth of field or background blur, do so many things with any shot, and it's done through this plugin. But if you haven't done so already, once again, definitely check out Dylan Bates. He's the Final Cut bro. I like his video styles. They're very informative, very straight to the point, and he just drops heaters all the time when it comes to plugins. And just this other video right here, the one about creating the light sweep effect in Apple Motion, I was able to learn so much with this small video, right? And even gets me thinking, like, I think I'm able to take on this new program Motion to add that as another skill to my repertoire with the Final Cut Pro, and add a lot of like really tailor-made effects with this program and Final Cut Pro. So definitely, if you haven't done so already, check it out. Cities Gone, channels that I think you should go and watch. Dylan Bates, the Final Cut Bro, definitely one to check out. And that's Cities Gone. And thanks once again to the moderators for that, for keeping me on track. I really do appreciate that. And back to the main shot. And that's what we're gonna call it. Thank you as always for hanging out with me. I always try to provide the most value possible because I understand that our time is our most precious commodity. So thank you as always for taking the time and spending it here with me, with Aiden, as we hang out and we learn together. We learn how to keep a level head on a live stream and not get frustrated when Descript decides to take a crap on you, and how to listen to your moderators while they keep you on track when you lose said track because Descript decides to take a crap on you. So we live and we learn, but next week we'll be learning the actual process that I wanted to get into the nuances this week. We'll do that next week. Have all these little bugs ironed out. So I will make sure that that's going to happen. So thank you as always for taking the time. Just gonna say good night. Take care of yourselves. Have a great week, and I can't wait to see you here next week as we do it all over again. It will be episode 83. 83 weeks in a row. We keep inching closer and closer to 100, and I just stay amazed to say that at 104, right? 104 weeks. Episode 104 is 2 years consecutive live streams. So let's just leave it with that. I can't wait to reach that milestone and have all of you here to celebrate with me. So we have to start by getting to next week. So I have to finish this stream before we can get to that one. So that's what I'm going to do now. Guys, thanks for hanging out. As always, I'm super excited. We're going to take care of this next week, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces here to get it done. Yep, and if you haven't done so already, remember to hit that like button. It's highly appreciated. As always, thank you for your time, and I will see you next time.